Hey everybody, welcome to 501, week number 2. So this week we are definitely hitting the ground running. Hopefully week 1 was a nice kind of soft open for you. So week 2 has a handful of videos. Please take a look at those. Those are going to help you out. Definitely big picture with the course. This is what big picture looks like. And then also a bit with the discussion board, questions, and definitely for future assignments. So there's 3 videos. There's Sir Ken Robbins' Do Schools Kill Creativity? Spoiler alert, yeah, they often do. That's his TED Talk, 18 minutes. That's the longest of them. The most popular TED Talk of history. If you've not watched it, please watch it. If you have watched it, please also watch it with kind of a lens on what 21st century learning can be and what we as educators might do to help make our schools and our places more creative. You also hear a little bit about Simon Sinek, putting others first, start with why is his big thing. If you don't know Simon Sinek, oh my gosh, like your brain is going to explode. He's amazing. He's one of those people that educators I know talk a lot about and has influenced a lot of his thinking, but that is not an educator himself, really. And then Tony Wagner, you've read his book. He has a video called Why I Wrote This Book, so that's going to be useful. It's good stuff. So take a look at those. You have your discussion board. It's looking at that last book you have, Servant Leadership, looking at really calling it out, like, is servant leadership really a thing? Is it a model? Is it a model for you? Give some examples, as always, with your discussion. First post, your initial post, is going to be due by Thursday at midnight. 2 replies by Sunday at midnight. On the far left of your Blackboard course, if you go to discussions, at the very, very top of that, you'll see week by week, but then also at the top, it says discussion board criteria and grading rubric. See this document. If you've not seen that document, please click on that. Every course you ever take with Concordia will follow this and how you get those 10 points, when that stuff is due, what the rubric is, how you get the points, all of that sort of stuff, and just kind of the norms around discussion boards. So that is worth checking out. Other stuff in week 2, there is a collaborative assignment, ungraded. It's part of what we'd be doing if we're meeting face-to-face. This would be part of our face-to-face time. So it's going to be you with 2 or 3 other people doing a Venn diagram comparing some authors, Prensky, Wagner, Robinson. There's a Google drawing copy. You're just going to collaboratively give each other edit rights and compare and contrast those authors, right? There's a great Google Doc explaining that. I'm not going to go into any more detail. At the end of week 2, there's a Google Doc called a checkpoint. You can type into that. Please email that to me, letting me know, just kind of checking in, if you found this useful, name some elements about 21st century learning. And the other thing I want to point out is that you're going to see a few interviews that I have done, super informal, at the first official CUE Bold conference. So CUE, if you don't know it, CUE is CUE, CUE.org, Computer Using Educators. Now it just stands for CUE because every educator is a computer using educator. But 40 years ago, that was a defining self-selecting group. So CUE.org, California, parts of Nevada, professional learning with a focus on technology integration that is, like, well done. So I presented at CUE Bold a year ago, and then was actually kind of one of the headliners this last weekend, May 5th, that weekend, whatever, or the weekend before, looking at learning spaces, right? So BOLD is an acronym, Blended Online Lesson Design. So I interviewed a bunch of educators going through just kind of main parts of this course. So David Platt, San Gabriel Valley CUE board member, talks about elements of a 21st century classroom and 21st century learning. So these are, whenever you see these ones that look like they were shot in the last year on my phone, they were. They're about a minute long and give you a great insight, also give you some good educators to follow. Which brings me to our last thing, the social media starter kit, rubric and assignment and description. Be sure and look at the rubric, please. I spent a long time making it just right. There's just a great to-do list. If you've not been on Twitter, as an educator in 2018 you need to be. Whether or not you develop lifelong friendships, not the point of this course. Whether or not you find it super useful in 5 years, not the point of this course. For me, it has absolutely changed my career, my life. I'm in this space. Ready? Here is my office, right at Holbrook School in Los Gatos near San Jose. I'm in here. I'm in the room where it happens because I was on Twitter and I got an email out of nowhere. Hey Bill, I love what you share on Twitter. I think you'd be a great fit for a director of technology, and I am. I found like so many of educators that have influenced my life, my pedagogy, my thinking around education. I found through Twitter. It's changed a lot over the years, but the basics are the same. When you're done with your master's, the shelf life on that, as far as ed tech integration is 18 months, and then it becomes outdated. So, what do you do after that? Right? You need to be connected somehow. So going to conferences that CUE puts on, some sort of social media. You can join CUE's Facebook group, share stuff out on all kinds of platforms. We're going to focus just on one to make it succinct, to make it gradable in a rubric. So there's a few basics you need to do by the end of week 2. Have a Twitter account that mentions education, right? If you have one that talks all about barbecue sauce, you can continue that one. You can start a different one. Your choice. I have just one. Bill Selleck is all things ed tech for everything. Sometimes it's off topic, and that's okay. But if you look at it, you're like, oh, the dude cares a lot about technology in the classroom. So you need to make sure you have a Twitter account, that it's public, that you have a profile picture, called an avatar sometimes. You have a background image, you have a biography. There's a really cool trick. If you have hashtags in the biography, like we are Q, we are Q, when people search that hashtag we are Q, your profile pops up in it. So it's an easy way for people to find you. And also, like if you teach math, like a hashtag for that is MTBOS, Math Twitter Blogosphere, which is ridiculous, but math teachers use MTBOS to find each other and to share resources. So you want to make sure you have Twitter with you in your pocket, right? Somewhere that you're going to check decently regularly. And then you're going to want to follow 20 educators. So I will look by week 8 to make sure you've done that. You don't have to follow all 20 by the end of week 2. You can. It's actually really easy. If you click on me, at Bill Selleck, it's just my name, there's a link on About Your Instructor over in the sidebar, whatever that's called. I have a list, and there's a handful of lists called Edu Awesome People. Those are educators that are awesome. And I also have a list called People to Follow if you're new to Twitter. Just feel free to follow all those people, and you'll find out some amazing resources. The trick is to engage, to reply, right? Social media, like Web 2.0, the idea is that the web talks to you and you can talk back. It's not just let me read a newspaper. Cool, that was good. I wish I could talk to the author. No. Every tweet is a little mini newspaper. It's silly, it's ridiculous, but I'm going to own it. And you can reply, right? When stuff is social media, the bias is towards engaging. So hopefully you will slowly find some educators to follow throughout this course. Hopefully you'll be able to get all those basics like profile picture, background image, bio, so it looks like there's a human. So when you follow people, if you say hi, they're like, oh, who is this person? Oh, they have 3 tweets and 2 followers, but oh, they're doing some cool stuff. Oh, looks like they're in a class with Bill. Oh, let's follow this person back. So it's a way to start to grow your PLN, your professional learning network, or your personal learning network. Take a look at that rubric. That'll give you the things you must do, things I'll be grading you on, and reach out with questions. And yeah, happy week 2, everybody.